Hello students, welcome to Insights ICANN Initiative. In this video, we are going to discuss about weekly current issues, week number 21. In case, if you miss out the previous weekly current issues, please find on the weekly current issues playlist. By the way, in this video, we are going to discuss about following 7 topics. It starts with Article 356 and ends with International Energy Agency. And you know that as the prelims 2024 is getting approaching, you have to be very good with the current affairs. So, in case if you miss out any previous current affairs videos, please go through, because you can find these current affairs videos on daily basis at 8:30 p.m. Okay, somewhere around half an hour before or after sometimes. Generally 8 p.m. Sometimes it may go to 8:30 or 9 p.m. Depends on the internet speed of uploading the video and all these things. Okay. Now, so in today's video, first we are going to discuss about Article 356. Recently, Supreme Court examined Article 356 in the context of abolition of Article 370. You know that Article 356 about the President rule. Recently, Supreme Court examined what kind of activities can be done by the President during the President rule. Okay, so it examined and it validates the Article 370 abrogation. So why it is in news? Supreme Court held that the actions performed under Article 356 are reasonably right in the case of Jammu Kashmir. And the concept of Article 356, which is also known as President rule, we adopted this concept from the Government of India Act 1935. In that particular act, in section 93, this President rule was there. Normally, President rule will be imposed under 2 conditions. When constitutional machinery is failed in a particular state, if a constitutional machinery is failed, based on the governor report, then President will impose the President rule. In the second condition, when state is failed to comply the orders given by the union government according to Article 365, then the President rule will be imposed. As soon as the President rule is promulgated, within 2 months Parliament has to accept. Tell me students, Parliament has to accept the President rule promulgation with what type of majority? Put your answers in the comment section. Once the Parliament accepts, then the President rule will be valid for 6 months. Then again Parliament has to renew if it is required. That means further 6 months will be renewed. But after 1 year of the President rule, if still the renewal is required, then the President rule can be renewed only on 2 conditions. Number 1, national emergency has to be there in any part of that state or entire India, plus the Election Commission of India must certify that the inability to conduct elections. If these 2 conditions are satisfied, then only President rule will be extended beyond 1 year. But anyhow, President rule cannot be extended for more than 3 years. That means the maximum duration of President rule is 3 years. During the President rule time, the state legislative functions will be performed by Parliament and the executive functions will be performed by the President. In this process, President may take the help of the Governor or Chief Secretary. This is about the President rule. Okay, and we discussed about all these things. Next, and one more thing, for the removal of the President rule, Parliament promulgation is not required. Okay, so Parliament resolution is not required. President can revoke the President rule on the recommendation of Council of Ministers. Same like national emergency also can be removed by President, but national emergency can be removed even by passing a resolution in the Lok Sabha, but that kind of provision is not required here. So that means the legislature role is not there in the removing of President rule. And one more thing, President rule comes under the judicial review also. Next, PoSH Act. PoSH Act stands for the Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace. Recently, this PoSH Act finished 10 years of the enactment. Sexual harassment of women at workplace. It was made in 2013, enacted in 2013. It finished the 10th anniversary. In this context, we will discuss about some of the salient features of the PoSH Act, like what is the meaning of districts committee and what is the definition of sexual harassment, what is the definition of women, whether this act applicable to the organized sector alone or unorganized sector as well, we will discuss, and what are the punishment. If any employer is not compliant with this PoSH Act, what are the punishment they will be attracted towards. Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act 2013, and before this Domestic Violence Act used to be there as well. Domestic Violence Act covers the domestic matters. It was enacted in 2005. According to this particular PoSH Act, sexual harassment includes physical contact, sexual advances and demand or a request for sexual favors like a casting couch and all these things, and showing pornography even though the opposite gender don't like to see the pornography and showing the nude picture, all this comes under the like harassment, sexual harassment. Features, it is applicable to both organized sector as well as the unorganized sector as well. It applicable to both public and private sector and government and non-government organizations. That means its applicability is very wide in nature. The constitution of internal complaints committee, according to this act, every company they have to constitute an internal complaints committee. So this committee deals with the complaints from the employees within the company. At least any company which is having at least 10 or more employee, they should have this kind of internal complaint committee. Then generally this has to be headed by women and at least 2 women employees should be there in this committee with the experience of 5 years or more or any NGO as well. Next, employees. Here it covers all the women employees, whether they are employed regularly, temporarily, contractually or ad hoc based or daily or intern. It covers all the women employees. Local committee. It is about for every district in the country they have to create a local committee, and the companies which are comes under this local committee, those companies they have to file their annual reports, like what kind of sexual harassment cases their internal complaint committee got and how much they solve those kind of issues. Those reports they have to file to the local committee. All the companies which are having staff with less than 10 employees, more than 10 employees, obviously they will have their own internal committees. Procedure for filing complaints. Women can file complaints within 3 to 6 months of the sexual harassment incident. That means beyond 6 months they cannot complain. There is a limitation period for this complaint period as well. Annual audit report. The employer has to file annual audit report with the district officer about their investigation into the sexual harassment cases. Penalty. If any employer, if they are unable to constitute the internal complaints committee, then they will fine up to 50,000, which increase for a repetitive offences as well. Significance. This act was enacted for the quicker and more efficient resolution of cases, safe work environment, legal framework with penalties for non-compliance. It serves as a discouragement of the sexual harassment, and finally it also maintains the confidentiality during the inquiry process. Okay. So these are the advantages of the Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act. But the challenges: lack of awareness in majority of the women about this act, inadequate training to this internal complaint committee people. Some companies are non-compliant, so action is not being initiated on those companies. Informal workplaces, in these workplaces this committee is not being implemented properly, and inadequate penalties. These are some of the challenges associated with this particular act. Third one, this is about the Indian Research Station in Antarctica. Antarctica about the South Pole, and popular Indian research stations in Antarctic region, Dakshin Gangotri, it is not working now, decommissioned, and Bharati and Maitri. So these are some of the research stations of Antarctica. You know that recently in last year Indian Parliament also enacted the Antarctic Bill. According to that, if any Indian or any foreigner who are working in the Indian laboratory in Antarctica, if they violate any laws, they will be punished. In this particular topic, we are also going to check international treaties which are regulating the Antarctic research. Now let's see. 2023 December, it marks the 40 years of completion of India becoming the permanent resident of Antarctica. In 1983, for the first time, India established a permanent base in Antarctica that is named as Dakshin Gangotri. India presently has 2 research stations in Antarctica, they namely Maitri and Bharati. Now the Dakshin Gangotri is decommissioned, that means now it is not actively working. The National Center for Polar and Ocean Research, which is located in Goa, it is an autonomous institution under the Ministry of Earth Sciences. It manages all our research activity in Antarctic region. About Antarctic, it is the world's southmost and 5th largest continent, and it is the world's highest, driest, coldest and iciest continent. And the western Antarctica, even it falls in the Pacific Ring of Fire. That means volcanic eruptions can be possible on the west side of the Antarctic region. Mount Elbrus, it is located in the Antarctic's Ross Island. It is the southernmost active volcano in the earth. Remember, southernmost active volcano on the earth. Longest river in the Antarctic region, Oryx, largest lake is Vostok. Next, some of the important agreements related to Antarctic Treaty. Okay, so this covers the area south of the 60 degrees latitude and it was signed at Washington DC in 1959. What is the main objective? To demilitarization of Antarctica. That means in Antarctic region, no country should have their military base and it should not be used as a military interest by any other country. Whether India signed this treaty or not, yes, India signed this in 1983. Then the Convention on the Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources, India signed on this one as well as India member since 1985. Next, Madrid Protocol. It is the protocol related to protection of environment in the Antarctic Treaty. India signed the Madrid Protocol in 1998. And the Council of Managers of the National Antarctic Program, India is also a member of this research program. Okay. So by observing this, you can understand that India is actively participating in various activities related to Antarctic in last few years. Significance of research in Antarctic. That means why we have to do research in Antarctic region. Of course, doing research in Antarctic region, it is having some significant benefits. They are climate change and global warming. We can understand even the ozone layer depletion effect also can be understand. Scientific discoveries and ozone layer depletion like I said. So these are the various significances related to doing research in Antarctic region. Then the fourth topic, Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. You know students, any individuals or organizations who are putting a lot of effort towards the peaceful process, okay, they will be awarded with the Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. It can be given to individuals or organizations. Now let's see who are the people or organizations awarded this prize. Let's see. The Indira Gandhi Prize for Peace, Disarmament and Development 2023. This prize was awarded jointly to Daniel Barenboim and Ali Abu Awad. These two people. They were awarded for what? Their contribution towards the peace talks between the Israel and the neighborhood Islamic countries. That means the peace between the Israel and the Arab world. This peace prize is also known as Indira Gandhi Prize for Peace, Disarmament and Development. It is the another name for the Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. The two awardees, okay, out of them, one Daniel Barenboim. Daniel Barenboim, we can call it as Daniel. He is acclaimed classical pianist and through his performance as well as he founded West Eastern Devian Orchestra and the Barenboim Side Academy. Okay, through these he tried to bring youth from Israel, Palestine and other North African countries to improve the unity and understanding through music. Okay, this is the contribution of him. The second one, Ali Abu Awad. He founded an organization known as Roots. It is to promote the non-violence and transformation among the youth. He also put lot of efforts behind establishing the creation of Tagir. It is a Palestinian non-violence movement launched by over 3,000 Palestinians in 2016. Because of these two contributions, okay, as well as because of the contribution from Daniel Barenboim, because of these contributions, these both people were awarded the Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. Indira Gandhi Peace Prize, it is an award given to both individual as well as organization who have put outstanding contribution to promote the international peace and development. This prize was initiated in 1986. According to this prize, cash award of 2.5 million rupees as well as a citation will be given to the awardees. So this is about Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. Next one, NASA Space Mission 2024. This is about promoting understanding regarding the aerosols and earth environment so that we can get a detailed understanding about earth atmosphere. Let's see, it is the mission related to understanding of earth atmosphere with the upcoming of, so what they are going to be included in this earth understanding? Plants, aerosols, clouds, ocean ecosystem. For understanding all these things, so that after understanding all these things we can get a better idea about the earth. Okay, so for this NASA launched space mission. It is going to be scheduled in early 2024. It uses advanced polarimeters to study the interaction between the light, aerosols and clouds, and it contributes to a deeper understanding of the impact of air quality and climate change. Okay, remember when these kind of missions are in news, we have to focus on who are launching, what are the main objective, and what are the important instruments in these missions. Okay, if India is involved, how India is involving. Let's see. This is not only analyze the aerosols, it also study the color of the ocean. You know that students, aerosol is all about the small tiny air particles, okay, particles in the air. Even they influence the scattering of light in the atmosphere, so that they control the amount of light which reaches from the sun to the earth surface. The primary scientific instruments used in this mission are ocean color instruments. It will feature two polarimeter, the spectropolarimeter for planetary exploration and the hyperangular research polarimeter. These are the two polarimeters deployed in this space mission. What are aerosols? These are tiny particles like smoke, dust and pollutants, and they play crucial role in influencing our climate. They absorb and scatter sunlight and determines amount of sunlight reaches to the earth surface. Just now we discussed about this. So this is about the PACE mission. Next, 14 members suspended from the parliament, 13 from Lok Sabha, 1 from Rajya Sabha. You know that recently there was a security breach in parliament. Regarding that, few MPs they demanded a discussion on this particular issue. On this process, some of the MPs they disrupted the proceedings of the parliament on the grounds of disruption of the business of the house. 13 Lok Sabha MPs and 1 Rajya Sabha MP they have been suspended for the entire rest of the winter session. In this context, we are going to discuss about which rules regarding the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha dealing with the suspension of members. Let's see. 14 opposition MPs, 13 from Lok Sabha and 1 from Rajya Sabha, they have been suspended after they protested against security breach in parliament. These MPs who are suspended for unruly conduct for their entire winter session. Recently, Supreme Court commented that regarding the suspension of members, they can be suspended. A member can be suspended maximum for the entire session or 5 sittings. They cannot be suspended more than that time. The suspension is against the basic structure. Regarding the Lok Sabha, rule number 373, according to that, if any member is not following the business of the house, they will be suspended according to rule number 373. That means they will be suspended for the rest of the day sitting. In spite of that, okay, if the members are repetitively violating the rules, then they will be suspended under rule 374. Under rule 374, a motion will be introduced against the member and the member will be suspended for the entire session. Without motion also, a member can be suspended for the entire session, that is according to article 374A. This is about the Lok Sabha. Regarding the Rajya Sabha, rule 255, it empowers presiding officer of Rajya Sabha to suspend a member for the rest of the day, whereas rule 256, it suspends the member for the rest of the session. Here, motion has to be introduced. Without introduction of the motion, presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha, they cannot suspend the member. That means, like Lok Sabha, there is no such kind of provision to Rajya Sabha. In Rajya Sabha, you can suspend a member for the entire session only by introducing the motion in the Rajya Sabha. Next one, International Energy Agency. Recently, International Energy Agency declared that actually to get a membership in the International Energy Agency, there are certain criteria has to be followed. Okay, of course, India at the moment not following this standard criteria, but recently IEA is mentioned that they would like to change the criteria so that countries like India also they can get membership in the International Energy Agency. Now we will see what is this International Energy Agency, what is the objective behind IEA, and what are the benefits if India get membership, and why this criteria has to be changed, and what is the criteria, we will see. The executive director of the International Energy Agency said that they will review the membership criteria for India's inclusion in the world's premier energy monitoring organization, that is International Energy Agency. And the International Energy Agency, it is an autonomous body and it regulates the energy supplies. Actually, it was established after the world faced energy crisis during the 1970s. This organization worked with the countries as well as the industries. It was founded in 1974 to ensure the security of oil supply. This organization consists of 31 member countries and 11 association countries. A country a candidate country to the IEA, it must be a member of the OECD. Then only it will get the membership in the IEA. Then what are the criteria to get membership in IEA? To get membership in IEA, a country should maintain oil reserves which are at least adequate for the 90 days. You know the students, India also maintain the strategic oil reserves. Okay, these kind of reserves, they must be able to cater the country needs for the 90 days. There is a condition. The second condition, the country should make a law and organization. They have a legislation as well as organization to operate coordinated emergency response measures on a national basis. Okay, that means if energy crisis occurs, what kind of measures have to be taken in case of energy crisis occurs. Okay, that kind of legislation has to be there. And finally, the country should able to regulate oil companies under its jurisdiction, and they should able to ensure that oil companies will report the information whenever the government requested. So this kind of criteria are there, and now they are thinking to review these criteria so that countries like India also get membership in this IEA. India joined IEA in 2017 as an associate member, and some of the prominent reports published by IEA are World Energy Outlook, World Energy Balances, Energy Technology Perspectives, World Energy Statistics and Net Zero by 2050. These are the reports published by IEA. Okay, next. So questions for practice. Let's see. The first question, which of the following statements are the right one? So read these 4 statements and pick which one the right statement. Next question. Consider the following statement regarding the Antarctic Treaty. Read these 2 statements and pick the right question. Third one. Why was Daniel Barenboim awarded the Indira Gandhi Prize for Peace, Disarmament and Development for 2023? This is about the Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. Next question. Consider the following statement regarding the Rail Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Read the following statements and pick the right one. Next question. With reference to the Bharat New Car Assessment Program, Bharat NCAP, consider the following statements. So these are the 5 MCQs of today's video. As we reach to the end of this video, now let's see which topics we discussed in this video. In today's video, we covered following 7 subjects which spans around various topics. Okay, 7 topics around 7 various subjects, and this is the detailed analysis of weekly current issues week number 21. Thanks for watching.